Oh, I flummoxed some of y'all. I did, with that whole dried fruit thing. Let's chat about it. Hi everyone, welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness because your pantry is the best insurance that money can buy if it is put up safely and stored properly. That's where we're coming into today's conversation. In yesterday's video, I mentioned about not vacuum sealing dried fruit. Now, let's figure out the dried fruit, okay? There's dehydrated, like apples, you know, that kind of thing. And then there's freeze-dried. Those are completely dry. Now, most dehydrated bananas still have some moisture in them. They're still sticky. There's still some moisture in them. So I actually wouldn't do dehydrated bananas either. But most other stuff actually gets kind of crispy, you know, when you dehydrate it. Freeze drying, it takes completely the moisture out of it. But dried fruits like raisins, apricots, what am I thinking? Prunes or dates, that kind of thing, right? Those are not 100% dry. They're not anywhere near 100% dry. There's still quite a bit of moisture contained in those, which makes them unsafe for vacuum sealing and putting up on the shelf for an indeterminate amount of time, right? The USDA says fruits such as dried apricots, prunes, raisins will keep at top quality in the pantry for 6 months. I've had them up there for over a year. After opening, you may wish to store them tightly sealed in the refrigerator to preserve the quality for up to 6 additional months. No. Or freeze them for 1 month. Okay. If you're going to put them in the freezer, put them in the freezer. Vacuum seal them in a vacuum bag and put them in the freezer. Because that halts all things, right? It just stops it dead. And then when you take them out, they thaw and, you know, the moisture is still there. But you cannot vacuum seal them and leave them on a shelf. Because the moisture content in them is so high, you're not doing anything but giving it a breeding ground for bacteria, which can make you very, very sick. So someone mentioned, well, I put my trail mix and I vacuum sealed it. Okay. So for short term, sure, maybe. I still wouldn't do it because of the fruit, but nuts, that doesn't work either. Nuts are either in the refrigerator, okay, they're either on the counter for, I don't know, a month or so. They're in the refrigerator for like 6 months or so, or they're in the freezer for years. Now, the general rule is 2 years, they say, but I have had walnuts and pecans in the freezer literally for 3+ years, and they're perfectly good. I vacuum seal those just to keep freezer burn away from them. That's the only reason. Putting those in the freezer halts any possibilities of them going rancid. Your nuts will go rancid because they have a natural oil in them. That is just the way that they're made. That is a fact of life. Vacuum sealing dried fruits and nuts and putting them on your shelf and expecting them to be good is putting your expectations in the wrong place. So the safe way to put up dried fruit, I'm talking prunes, raisins, cranberries, that kind of thing, right, is to just put them in an airtight container and put them up in the pantry. They're good there for a year plus. If you want them longer than that, then vacuum seal them and put them in the freezer. The vacuum sealing at that point is only for the purpose of eliminating freezer burn. Because once you pull them out of the freezer, you want to open that, let them defrost. You do not want to vacuum seal dried fruit and leave it out. It's not shelf stable that way. It is a breeding ground for bacteria. Nuts will go rancid. If you've ever had a rancid nut, you know, it's not good, okay? It'll ruin your whole recipe. Your whole batch of brownies will be useless because of rancid nuts. So, store your nuts in the freezer. Literally good for years. Years. Much longer than what they say. Remember, sometimes it's just a matter of them giving their best estimate at how long it's good for. Why would anybody keep walnuts in their freezer for longer than 2-3 years? I don't know, because they don't eat them that often, but they still want them. That's me. Do it safely. Otherwise, it does you no good at all. If you haven't checked out yesterday's video, it's right here. Until next time, everybody, be safe.